Welcome back to our daily show at 10:06. We're going to go ahead and jump into really Mississippi Valley celebrating 50 years. Tim, how are we doing today?
We're doing great.
So
excited to be here.
Jackie called me the other day, and I was trying to remember everything. It's been kind of a busy couple of weeks. And you guys are really having a great opportunity to really support this school and really keep this going for another 50 years with a fantastic opportunity for us to help raise some funds for you.
Correct.
So take me to this. So this is a big year, 50 years, and what's just the school, the community feeling like just on the big 50 mark?
Well, it's an exciting time, but also a challenging time.
Yeah.
As we look back, we're located over in the historic Western Military Academy, and so before Western was the Weinman Institute, and that's all the way back to 1879. So about 145 years of education, and education excellence, integrity, discipline, all of those things. And so for 50 years as Mississippi Valley Christian School, we've been a ministry of a local church and educating young people in Christian education. So just over this last year, we have begun the process of separating out as a independent entity. And so with that comes a lot of challenges, some of those being financial, but also revisiting what our purpose is, what our mission is, that type of thing, and how are we going to move forward into that next 50 years.
Well, and what does that look like for you right now, with, your values and with those goals and what those next 50 look like? Have you had some conversations? Do you think you guys are feeling pretty unified and confident on what that looks like?
Yes, definitely.
Wonderful.
We've instituted a new board. Historically, it's been the board of Faith Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And so while we continue to have a good relationship with them, the board is made up more of some local Christian and business leaders. And so our mission really is to distinguish us as not a church.
Yeah,
because
I get it. Well, and here's why. I mean, there's so many parents right now, Tim, that are looking for that additional option, and just maybe not a full-on yes or let's go do this, but at least to explore it.
Yes.
And, I'll tell you this, there's times that I've trained folks from soccer, that kids that go to Mississippi Valley.
Yeah.
And you can tell. I mean, and I'm not saying that because you're bigger than me and I'm patronizing you, but I mean that because there's times, you can just tell the respect level, the commitment to what the goal is as a team, and the support that they give to their friends and their teammates. It's really interesting, and you can really tell that difference when you're around, just the amount of kids that I'm around, week to week.
Right. Well, and the beauty of it is that is a representation of our culture.
Yeah.
And we have high expectations, both academically, but also from a spiritual level and an integrity level, that these kids would hold themselves to a high standard. And we're partnering with parents to raise their kids a certain way. Yeah. And again, it is more...
It's a team.
Yes, correct.
Well, it needs to be, because that's a disconnect right now with, I think, some parents, not all, but some in public schools, is that it seems like maybe there's a different set of, I don't want to say values, but maybe just a different set of objectives whenever they get to school, in some classrooms, not all.
Right.
But whenever you can have an opportunity to really have that hands-on moment with parents and really discover that best path forward for that child,
right.
What parent wouldn't want that attention to detail? It's not a numbers game there. It's a true let's build character and let's build this child up to a great adult.
Correct. Part of it, too, is there's a cost with private education,
100%.
Christian education.
100%.
And so while we've been able to keep that fairly reasonable, that's also created its own set of challenges.
Right.
So that's where we're kind of launching, even just this week, really a large fundraiser to raise $200,000+, and we've had $30,000+ come in since July. And we're excited to partner with people, and we have kind of levels of advocate champions for Christian education, advocates, and ambassadors at $1,000. $5,000 and $10,000, and obviously things that go with that if people are interested, but also every dollar helps and every dollar counts. So there's opportunities to give there on our website as well.
We'll talk about that here in a second, but I think it's also good to point out that you guys, for trying to keep things affordable, and right now, God love you, because there's a lot of things that go into, I'm sure, that private school decision or Christian school, but you guys you don't get the funding of a public school.
No, we don't.
Not even close,
Right. We get zero public fund.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you have to do it all on your own, and this is really good to know that, for past individuals that went to Mississippi Valley, or maybe that had friends or just were big supporters of the military academy,
Yes.
this is a great way in a different form to kind of carry this legacy on, because that's one of the most historic plots of education
Yes,
around.
correct. And in fact, I met with CB Jackson, who's head of Western yesterday. They're redoing one of the panes on the memorial there, and we chatted a little bit, and again, he said, man, we're so appreciative for you guys keeping up the property. And of course, that's for our own benefit as much as it is for them, but we're trying to do the best we can, and again, always there's challenges. So
what's the website?
It is MVCS-IL.org.
I got this. Here we go. Okay. Let's figure out how much money we can raise. We got to raise $200,000, and we're going to do this. So how can you direct me to find that? Oh, the big donate button right there. Okay. So let's take you to it. I'll put a picture in picture so you guys can follow along here with me. You see this scrolling to the top of the screen. There's a little button here that says donate. I clicked on it, and here's I love that you guys do the subscription model too. Donate monthly, or you can donate one time, or maybe do both. Maybe that big smacking one-time donation, and then maybe $500 a month.
Well, and if you scroll down a little bit, there's kind of our other levels of donation, and with that we have some things, whether that's, here a lot of people think, oh, well, let's just donate, and that's great if you can do that, but there's also some advertising type of things, and so there's some things that go with those different levels that would be, representation in our gymnasium, in our media, that type of thing, and so we can certainly talk through some of those. If it's more of an advertising donation, if you want to call it that way, we would love to partner with community businesses and that type of thing.
Well, let's look at some of those. Let me zoom in here because my eyes are getting bad, man. I'm telling you what, I think I'm just getting too old. So here's what you receive a little bit. Name and permanent fixture on the partner honor wall. Promotion as an educational partner. Inclusion in newsletter name mentions. Recognition on the website as an education partner. And much more. So if it's a business opportunity, what can you guys do is there you're going to get this? Is there anything else additional?
Well, there's always things that we're doing that we're putting out, and we a lot of times you end up doing like single pieces, like, oh, do you want a page in the yearbook? Oh, do you want a poster in the gymnasium? Oh, do you want a, rather than doing all of those individual things, let's come together and do a larger package deal. And you get all of those things, and even we're doing trivia night in I want to say it's in April, might be March, but there's parts of that where you could be.
So you're a true partner.
Yeah,
I love this.
That would be the idea.
No, this is really cool because it's not. Some schools, man, especially like I've seen St. Louis schools do fundraisers, and it's more like a thanks come again type of atmosphere. This is real recognition, I think, and that's. I think what makes the school last generation upon generation is that personal side of the build too. Right.
Well, and this is something of a new approach. Historically, we've kind of done the nickel and dime type of thing with limited success. What I want to get away from that and say, okay, if you want to partner with us, great. Here's some benefits.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we're not coming to you time after time after time with, hey, I need another 10, I need another 100.
Exactly.
So
this is brilliant. I mean, really, I love this idea, 100%. So, take me through your role at the school.
So I have been here, this is my 6th year, and I actually came on as staff at the church initially.
Okay.
But about 18 months ago, we had some leadership challenges and changes, and so I took this role and began to try to move it forward and really, take a more entrepreneurial approach to this.
You need to.
What is the value that we provide to the community?
Yeah.
And to ask not just my board, but myself, how are we adding value to the community? Because it's very easy to come and say, hey, give us money, give us students, give us tuition.
Right.
How are we giving back? And so we're really looking at that strategically within our board to make a difference in giving back to the community. We have our young people right now, they're working on community projects that they have to have in place or at least figured out by Thanksgiving, that hopefully will be launched and finished by Christmas as part of one of their classes, and we're doing that by each grade. Stuff like that. We're talking about some other things that I'll kind of hold back because they're still very developmental, but
okay.
The purpose is I don't want to come and just say, hey, give to me.
Right.
The question that I heard actually from a pastor was, if we closed our doors tomorrow, would anyone in our community know about it?
That's a great point. And that's what I wanted to kind of lead into is a couple years ago, 5-ish years ago, maybe even 10, the school kind of lost that word of mouth. From my perspective, you know, we used to hear about it all the time, I thought, or at least see things, and I didn't see as much of it.
Right.
In the last year or so, maybe last couple, it just seems like that's starting to really come back into fruition, because whenever you have a school that's actively being talked about, it's hard to really stop the train, you know?
Correct. And so that's where we're at, kind of moving away from that, whatever that time frame was for whatever reason, and really ramp up our social media, our interaction,
Wonderful.
being involved with the different groups within the community, whether that be the Rotary and CEO program, all of those different things. And so we're working towards putting those things in place and really getting the personnel to do it well.
North Alton Godfrey Business Council. That'd be a good one.
Yes.
Well, and they're a sponsor of the show.
Yes.
With that being said, too, you hit on something that's really a good point, and that's something that not a lot of people are thinking about. A lot of the trends are we're thinking more as people, as entrepreneurs, more so than we ever have, where it's, you know, what's the value that we're getting, because we're in a world where value is in our face all the time, where we're seeing different activities and programs throughout the country, and we're seeing what we're getting here.
Yes.
So it's a constant evaluation. And I think it's really smart to look at it that way, because at the end of the year, it's not going to be, you know, how happy is little Johnny? You know, it might be a factor. It'd be a factor, but the bigger one's going to be, what are we getting out of this for the money that we're putting into it?
Correct.
And that's a really good way to look at it.
Well, and the challenge is people can get education for free.
Right. That's what I mean. You guys have to do this right.
Correct.
Yeah.
So ours is a culture of integrity and of honesty, and our target market really is churches. And we have 28 churches represented in our school, and we have less than 100 kids. So that shows you some of the diversity that we have.
Wow.
In our school already. And so we also want it to be clear in our messaging that we are not the church. We're not trying to be. We expect parents to parent their kids. That's their responsibility. Biblically, we believe. We expect pastors to be the pastor of their church, and I'm not trying to be the pastor of anybody's church. And then we expect churches to teach the Bible. Yeah. Now, we want to come alongside and assist in that.
True.
Training with parents, training and providing resources, but ultimately putting back the responsibility where it belongs, and not trying to absorb that ourselves.
I love this, man. I really do. I think this is honestly, I've had a lot of interviews with schools and admins and parents that talk about what they're looking for. And that really does tick off a lot of boxes. Now, I wanted to ask you about this because on November the 11th, you are doing a Thank You to Veterans event. Fill me in on this.
So this is something that we do every year, and it's usually not huge, but we would certainly like to see it grow.
We're going to grow this damn thing, because this isn't the first and only time you're coming on this show. We got to have you on.
Look forward to coming back.
Yeah.
But November 11th, starting at 9 a.m., we're going to have a small program where the kids will sing some patriotic songs and that type of thing, and we'll ask veterans to stand, that type of thing, with their with the different branches that they've served in, and then we'll have a brunch afterwards. And so on Facebook, there's a way that you can sign up for that event, so that if we do get overrun based on your reach, that we have a chance to prepare enough food and seats and all of that kind of stuff.
We're getting you there.
We'll get a new venue if needed.
Well, and honestly, I think this is great for the community, because especially the older generation that really did know Western military and know about, that, to be able to go back there and see what the new generation's doing there. And I mean that. How great would that be to see some former graduates and folks that haven't been in a while?
Correct.
Come back here that are veterans and be celebrated, but also to see what you guys are doing. And I love this idea of not preaching you're letting people own those avenues of the development of somebody, and I think that's so important.
Right. And a lot of parents, they say, oh, well, we want to protect the innocence of our children as long as possible, because there is definitely some challenges.
Oh, that too, 100%, man. 100% agree with
that
you.
is obviously something that we appreciate and are trying to do. And again, this
is great.
Going back, parents have to make the decision for themselves and for their family. They're responsible for their own kids. So, again, if we can be a help, and we want to be. And so, obviously, we have those things put in place, and we have our values. But our goal is to train children to be Christian leaders and learners for life. And so kind of even the education model of, I don't want to just give a degree at the end of that 12 years, but rather that child goes away with a passion for learning and growing and developing themselves that doesn't stop at 18, but continues throughout a lifetime.
You're going to teach them how to be on time?
That's
10 o'clock means 10 o'clock, well, not 10:21. You know, not you. I'm talking about our president. That's why I pushed you behind, because I thought, well, we'll get this first. But, you know, jokes aside.
That's on
jokes
you.
aside. Tim, I think, honestly, man, this is a great way for us to support this. Now, the bigger question I always have is, parents are somewhat frustrated, somewhat looking for a different change. When do you start enrollment for either the semester or the year? How does this work?
So open enrollment will be somewhere in around May.
Okay,
generally,
so we can put that, save the date just for May.
Yeah, and that's, again, it might actually I think it might be April. It's somewhere, it's on the calendar there. Off the top of my head, I wasn't prepared for that one, but we can start now. I mean, if people are interested, we can start into the process of working through, hey, what does that look like? What does that cost look like? And how do we plan ahead of
well, I mean that because you're really checking a lot of boxes today with what you're saying. I mean, 100% with what parents are looking for right now. And I just love the fact, too, that to have veterans programs and the students are involved, I'm sure. That's huge. I mean, and that instills something I think that's gone a lot of times from the young people, is a love for just being Americans. Not politically speaking, but just kind of celebrating these holidays and Veterans Day and thanking our veterans. Those are important deals.
Well, we had a meeting on Monday with our board, and with all of this, and again, finishing out our 50th year, there's some big plans for some rebranding and some bigger changes that will be going along that line, and really an homage, I guess, is that the right word, back to Western and some of what they have done historically, and again, a patriotic forward movement as well. So
well, and honestly, a Christian school in the heartland of America that is equipping students for a successful life. As an education partner, you're providing revenue that will grow the academy and help these students grow into becoming great adults, like so many already have. And I mean that. I've coached students from every district, it seems like. And the couple I have had from Mississippi Valley, you can just tell the difference. So it's not even about what you're going to receive in this, because if you're looking to donate to get something out of it, you're barking up the wrong tree. Call an ad agency; they'll take care of you, because that's really all you're doing when you give money to one of those guys. You're donating it. So call an ad agency. But really think about this. Now, are these one-time and monthlies? Can you do both options, or are the bigger ones just one time? How does it's set up to be a one-time? But if somebody wants to give that, I am more than willing to. I think someone can give you $1,000 a month for a while.
I think they could, and so that's where we're coming to the community and making an attempt to really perpetuate this, and the need is great, and so if you can give.
Oh, you guys are too nice. Think about this. Monthly donations are just $10.
Well, and that's the start. They can change it. They could add 2 or 3 or 5 zeros. I'm okay with that.
There we go. Tim, before I let you go,
yes, sir.
What else do we need to talk about today that we haven't touched on?
We've covered, obviously, a lot of ground in a short period of time.
We normally do. We're going to have you back on. I just wanted to make sure that we took care of you here.
I would say this. We have a tradition of excellence, of integrity, and of service. Okay. And that we want to perpetuate. In doing so, we understand our role in the Christian community and in the Alton community, the RiverBend community. And so we want to be intentional about not undermining parents or their pastors or their churches, because again, that is our primary focus, to reach that part of the community and create a culture that that they would expect to raise their kids for Christ. And then before I let you go, one final time, can I have the details on how we can be a part of this? Veterans Day? November 11th at 9 a.m. the program will begin, and there is information on our website that you can RSVP that, hey, I'm interested in coming, and we would love to meet you and have you come. And you know what, whether you're a veteran or not, you're welcome to come, but you might be here. Hey, thank you so much, Tim. It was a pleasure meeting you. I want to have you back on as we get closer and closer to 200,000. Thank you guys. Have a great program, and best of luck with it all. Thank you, CJ. We'll link everything on an article on RiverBender.com, but now the president is now addressing the nation. We'll take you
there now from the Rose Garden here on RiverBender.com.